Welcome, everyone. I am going to take us just through the agenda, and then I will introduce our guest speakers for today. As I say, we'll be doing a welcome and introduction initially, and then we'll move on to the key topics and questions that we want to discuss today. So why UK is a top destination for property finance, trends in the UK property market, how to find a property to buy in the UK, financing a property purchase versus buying with cash, usual pain points when buying with property finance, what to consider when investing in UK property, and popular locations for property investments. And also we've got some questions sent in from the audience that we'll be going through at the end. And then I'll quickly cover off who Nomo is and what we do. So first, I'd like to introduce Haifa. Haifa is from Ion, and Haifa, would you like to do your introduction?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I work at Ion Real Estate, and Ion Real Estate is a very well-known Kuwaiti shareholding company in Kuwait. It was established in 1976 and registered on the Kuwait Stock Exchange in 2005. The company provides a comprehensive range of real estate development services and investment opportunities in Kuwait and abroad. We established this real estate consultancy department for UK properties to provide a wide range of related services, drawing on our extensive experience in the real estate industry. While adhering to Islamic principles, the department aims to assist its clients in properly purchasing international properties by meeting all tax and regulatory requirements and specifying appropriate property. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. And then I'd also like to introduce Simon from JLL. Simon, I'll let you take over for your introduction.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for that. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Simon Cook. I'm the Director, Head of International Residential for JLL. I've been with JLL now for 4 years, based outside in Dubai. But previous to that, I did 7 years in central London, working for Foxtons New Homes and Investments. And before that, I studied at Oxford Brookes University. So JLL, Joan Lang LaSalle. We are a Fortune 500 company. We're based over 80 countries globally. We employ around about 103,000 people in total. The group in EMEA that we're doing at the moment is mostly focused in real estate and hospitality. We're across 35 countries across the region at the moment. We employ 1,650 people across that region. Our main offices are Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, Jeddah, Cairo, Casablanca, Johannesburg, and Nairobi. Thanks, Mike. Cool.
Thank you very much. And I guess just picking straight up off that with our first topic, Simon. So why is the UK a top destination for property purchases?
Well, thanks, Mike. Well, look, the UK has always been a top destination to invest your money at the moment. And I think that's down to the historic significance that we've got and also the strong economy. On average, in the last decade, I think our house prices rose by about £100,000, which is a rewarding investment, either as a second home or just a straight investment for a buy-to-let. Despite the strong issues that we've had throughout the pandemic, especially London, Manchester, and Birmingham have been very strong with the challenges that we've faced. And at the moment, we've got strong position. We've got a low employment rate at the moment, so that works well. One thing that I have to consider when buying into the UK is that we've got fantastic transport links, infrastructure, and obviously education as well. Now, obviously, when it comes to investment, looking at investment properties, especially in the UK, you have to consider the pros. At the moment, the opportunity is a stable income. A second home provides a potential source of rental income, potential high capital appreciation as well. As you see with a UK property, you are normally looking at between 5 and 10 years before you're looking at selling it. and also for education. I touched on that earlier. I think with the UK, with the fantastic schools and universities, it's a great place to invest. The cons, however, though, over the last years, we have seen an increase in stamp duty, especially with secondary homes. So you do have to take that into consideration. Another con that I would say is market vulnerability. But however, you probably get that anyway if you were looking at stocks and shares as well. So overall, it's a great investment. Thanks, Mike.
Great, thank you very much. And so what could you tell us about some of the trends that we've seen in the UK property market?
Yeah, so the trends have been have changed quite a lot, actually. Over the pandemic, we did notice that a lot of people were actually trying to get out of central London, and they were looking for more outdoor space. So that goes in. That took so a lot of developers took that into consideration. So they were looking at more eco-friendly living, co-living, workspace, and much better for student accommodation and build-to-rent developments. What we have seen as well is the affordability factor. So the affordability factor for, say, a Zone 1 area in London is obviously substantially expensive. So people are looking out now towards the Zone 2, Zone 3, and Zone 4 areas, even the home counties, or looking at the second or third largest cities in the UK, such as Birmingham and Manchester. What you also have to consideration is that cost of living at the moment has gone up considerably, and with obviously mortgage rates being so high, what we are seeing is a very strong trend in the rental market. So where the rental market was on quite a plateau, when the pandemic happened, what it did is it did increase the rental market twofold, and we're seeing a stronger drive in the rental market at the moment, and that's just down to the mortgage rates at the moment. I think a lot of people, especially first-time buyers, are just feeling that pinch a little bit too much, so they're going into the rental market for that a little bit longer. But the pros of that, with a strong rental market in such say as Birmingham, Manchester, London, is that you have obviously you have a wider audience if you are a buy-to-let investor. So you will what we call avoid the void. So as soon as you take possession of those keys of that property, you know there'll be no void period where the property's empty and you're having to pay for, say, the mortgage every month, etc., etc. So actually, we're seeing a massive increase in the rental market at the moment. So it's definitely a good time to buy, as we are seeing a slight fluctuation in price decreases in some areas of the UK. We are at JLL have just given a report out, and you'll see the link down below after this webinar, and it does say it will be a single-digit price drop, but then the overall factors will come into consideration when you know the longer period. So say the next 12 to 14 months, you'll see a price increase again. Thanks, Mike.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And so to Haifa, so how do you find a property to buy in the UK?
Well, thank you, Mike. There are several ways to find a property in the market, UK market, like online property portals, estate agents, property auctions, networking, local advertisement, and property developers, of course. But we have to narrow down the search. To narrow down the search, it's important to answer a few questions and consider key parameters. These questions are mainly why you want to buy property in the UK, where to buy, and how you're going to buy it. So let's start with why to buy property in the UK. Based on our experience, it's the first question I usually ask my clients is why you are looking to buy property in the UK. And the most common replies are like either it's a holiday home or investment. So this will narrow the search and make it easier for the client to decide where to buy. The location is the most important element to consider when searching for their dream home, and many clients make sure to visit this area. And some other clients consider hearing from relatives' recommendation just to determine the suitability of this area. It's important to conduct thorough research of the areas that the buyers are considering. And it's important to visit these properties in person or virtually to assess their suitability, connectivity, landscaping, and countryside view. And why are this client how they are going to pay for this property is we have to decide the budget, which is very important in assessing whether to pay cash or financing the property. We will elaborate more this question following this question. The key parameters that we have to consider when searching for a UK property is the location, property type, and budget. So the location, we have to again check proximity to amenities, transport links, neighborhood desirability, and we have to search for any future developments that may affect the property value in the future. Like the property type is personal recommendations, so it's to define the needed size, how many bedrooms we need, is it off plan or ready to occupy property, and of course the layout and aspects and the views. And the important thing is the budget, considering all costs like purchasing price, taxes, legal fees, potential renovation costs, and deciding whether we are paying cash or financing the property will give an idea for how much the client is looking to spend. So finding suitable property is easy when you answer the above questions that we mentioned now and consult well-known agents to assist you properly. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. So I guess that brings us quite nicely then onto talking about whether financing a property versus buying with cash.
It's not an easy question. Financing property and buying with cash are two different approaches, each with its own considerations. So buying with cash involves affordability and assessing whether using a significant portion of your savings is a sound financial decision while considering potential emergencies or future investments. So it's important to evaluate the impact of paying cash on your overall financial situation. However, buying with cash may provide stronger negotiation power with the sellers. And moreover, when buying with cash and avoiding mortgage loans, you won't incur interest charges, which can lead to long-term cost savings. On the other hand, financing involves researching and comparing mortgage options from different lenders to find the most suitable terms, interest rates, and repayment plans. You need to assess your financial situation to determine how much you can afford to borrow, considering, of course, the income, expenditure, and existing debts. You have to make sure that the down payment is ready because you need to pay it from your savings. And the interest rates involves interest charges, which and the interest rates that you secure will affect the overall cost of the property over time. We have also to consider a few other things like cash flow, like when purchasing property with cash eliminates the need for monthly mortgage payments, improving your cash flow. And no mortgage payments reduce the financial risk associated with defaulting on loan obligations, for example. And buying property with mortgage might freeze up additional funds that can be invested in other opportunities, potentially yielding higher returns. Also, like investment opportunities considerations, when buying properties with mortgage, you will allow yourself for diversification of investments beyond real estate, such as stocks, bonds, or starting a business, for example. Having cash available for other investments can potentially lead to greater financial growth and the ability to seize other opportunities. The last thing that we have to consider is the inheritance tax. So buying property with cash means the property's value is included in the title deed or in your estate upon your death, potentially resulting in a higher interest tax liability for your heirs. Purchasing property with mortgage reduces the value of your estate and potentially lowering the inheritance tax burden on your heirs. It's advisable to consult a tax advisor for all UK tax-related questions relevant to property purchase. At the end, ultimately, the decision between financing a property purchase or buying with cash depends on your financial circumstances, goals, and preferences. Assessing cash flow requirements, potential investments, opportunities, and tax implications helps make an informed choice aligned with your overall financial strategy. Again, it's advisable to consult with financial professionals or mortgage advisors to assess the best approach for your specific situation. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Haifa. And staying with the topic of property finance, what are the usual pain points that clients find when buying property with property finance or a mortgage?
Yeah, I do get, Mike, I do get asked this quite a lot. There is a complex application process when it comes to applying for a mortgage, which sometimes clients do find quite confusing and overwhelming, to be honest with you, requiring extensive documentation that you always have to hand over to the mortgage broker or bank, and multiple lenders as well, just to try and find the right choice. Now, with the stringent qualifications now for, say, a buy-to-let mortgage, due to the downturn in 2007, we are seeing that banks are much stringent on the qualification, and they will probably ask for a lot more detail than what they firstly asked for. And this can obviously make the client very frustrated at the same time. Now, due to it being a buy-to-let and an overseas client that would be purchasing these properties, you will be having to pay a higher down payment as well, which can obviously accumulate costs when it's coming to buying a purchase. So you might be looking at a 3-bed apartment as a buy-to-let and end up buying a 2-bed just due to the down payment that you'd have to give. There is a lengthy approval process as well when it comes to it. It seems that especially with the overseas buyers, getting a mortgage through at the moment can take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks, and even longer in some cases, as a lot of people want more and more documentation, as obviously the mortgage rates are heightened as well. So there are a lot of challenging times, and that's why we team up with obviously the best banks around in order to give the best advice to the clients. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. And so what should we consider when investing in UK property? What are the other considerations?
I think the most important thing, Mike, when purchasing a property is obviously the whole lending thing is obviously a key component, but it's having the right solicitor on board with you and on your side. Obviously, I've been in the industry 10 years now, and there's a stat out for the agency, and it's around about 1 in 4 deals falls through. And normally that's not down to timeframes with mortgage approvals, etc., or surveys. It's normally down to having a good solicitor and having an educated solicitor. That's why, when purchasing a property in, say, London, always go with a London-based solicitor, because they are the best, because they understand the boroughs, and all the criteria that comes along with it when doing the legal documentation. I would exactly say the same if you were looking at buying in Manchester or Birmingham. Always get a local solicitor on board. It's probably the most important thing when coming to buy a property. Great, thank you very much. And absolutely agree. I've just bought a house, and having a good solicitor made the whole process much easier. So on to then our final topic before we move on to your questions. So what are the most popular locations for property investments in the UK?
Okay. So there are several popular locations for property investments, such as London, of course, Manchester, Birmingham, and Leeds. London, as the capital city, has long been a prime location for property investments. It offers a diverse market with a wide range of properties. And Manchester, as Simon mentioned before, has a thriving economy, a vibrant cultural scene, and a growing population. Property investors are attracted to Manchester due to its strong rental market, urban regeneration projects, and potential for capital appreciation. Birmingham, as well, is the second largest city in the UK and has experienced significant investment and development in recent years. It's important to note that property market trends and investment opportunities can evolve over time, so it's advisable to conduct thorough research, consider local market conditions, and seek professional advice when making investment decisions. In one of the JLL reports called Big Six Residential Development Report, which was published in 28th February, Manchester was the first of the big cities, 6 cities, to record double-digit growth in prices post-pandemic, as it continues to see its prime market grow, with demand for high specification, new developments, pushing prices higher this year. Buyers looking to purchase a home in the best prime new developments are spending an average of $280,000 for a 1-bed, £382,000 for a 2-bed, and $480,000 for a 3-bed in prime apartments. Birmingham, Reading, Milton Keynes, in addition to London, attract most of the GCC homeowners and investors and have seen a rise in house prices like other UK desirable areas. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. So that concludes our main topics. So we now have some questions that have been sent in from the audience. So I'm just going to pull those up. So the first one is, what are the costs associated with buying a property in the UK? So I think this one is for you, Haifa.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. I got this question a lot. It's a very common question for most of the buyers, of course. They need to know what they're going to pay. But you can just focus on 5 or 6 main fees and taxes, which we have to consider in the calculation. So some of these costs could include application fees for the property finance. Like these fees cover the administrative and operational costs associated with the processing the property finance application, which can include commodity trade and introducer fees. We have also the legal fees. These fees will cover the legal work carried out by the lawyer, helping the client with transferring the ownership from the seller to the buyer. You will need also to cover the cost of the bank's lawyer as well. We have also the building insurance, which can protect from the cost of repairing or rebuilding the property in case of any disaster. So having building insurance is also is one of the mandatory requirements to get a property finance, by the way. We have also the property survey cost, which is a standard variation, is carried out as a part of the property finance process. But you can also arrange a property survey, which looks at the physical conditions of the property if you wish. So this will help you to discover any repairs that you may need to address before you purchase the property. We have also money transfer fees. So in order to purchase a property in the UK from abroad, you may need to transfer funds over fees, for example, to pay the down payment where transfer fee occurs. It's worth to mention here that if you have a Bubian account, a Nomo account, then you will not need to pay any transfer fee. So moreover, when you have a Nomo account also, you can set up direct debits and pay all the purchase costs that I'm speaking now. Regarding the taxes, when you buy a property in the UK, you may be required to pay taxes such as stamp duty, land tax, applicable to properties in England, and land transaction tax for properties in Wales. You may also be liable for income tax resulting from the income earned from your rental property, and capital gain tax in case you choose to sell the property in the future. I have to say here also that the client should review all the personal taxes situation with a tax specialist. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. So the next question then is, why do I need to appoint a lawyer when purchasing a property? I think we've partly covered this, but I think this one's for you, Simon.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it is a little bit different from, say, purchasing a property in Dubai, when you obviously reserve your property in Dubai and you go to land registry and then you just pay your money and done with it. Over in the UK, you do need legal representative, especially when buying a secondary home. I think with a new build, obviously, the legal contract paperwork is pretty much a standard throughout the whole development, but you do need legal representative when purchasing a property. Otherwise, a lender will not lend on it either, i.e. a bank won't touch it if legal representative, because when you appoint a solicitor, you are actually appointing that solicitor to look after the bank as well, the bank's interest as well, because obviously they have their money invested into your property as well.
Great, thank you very much. And there was just one final question, and I think this one's for me, which is, how is the Nomo property financing Sharia compliant? So at Nomo, we use property financing contract. It's a contract to exchange called Commodity Murabaha. So it's a popular and well-established Islamic contract used throughout the Islamic economy to structure retail deposits and financing. And all of Nomo's products, property finance included, are fully approved by our Sharia supervisory board that sits at Bubian. So that's all of our questions that we've got in. Thank you very much for sending the questions in. And is there anything else that Haifa or Simon that you'd like to add before I move on to, I'm just going to talk a little bit about who Nomo is.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I'd like to also mention here that we are at Ayan Real Estate now offering 50% discount on our administrative fees to all the attendees now tonight. So who would be interested to use our services in the future? Okay, knowing that we assist the clients throughout the whole process, and we work with reputable companies like JLL and Nomo, of course, and to provide the hassle-free and best opportunities property purchases in the UK. Thank you so much, Mike.
Brilliant, thank you. It's a great offer for helping clients take the next step. So just to talk a little bit about who Nomo are. So we're the world's first fully digital international Islamic bank based in London and regulated in the UK. We launched back in 2021, And we now have a suite of products across current accounts, savings, and also property finance. It's fully Sharia compliant, fully digital, and we can help with clients who want to buy property in the UK, whether you're based in the UAE, Kuwait, or Saudi Arabia. So thank you very much for attending, everyone. If you have any questions or you'd like to request a call back, please just email in marketing@nomo.bank. And that's us for today. Thank you very much. And thank you to Haifa and Simon for attending and giving us some really useful information for clients.
Thank you.
Thank you.